I'm Talia Harper, 30 years old, a colonel in the U.S. Army Cyber Command. 5 years ago, I walked away from my childhood home in Alexandria, Virginia, leaving behind a family that couldn't accept the path I'd chosen. My father, Richard Harper, is a big shot at Westbridge Technologies, a defense contractor supplying cutting-edge tech to the Pentagon. He always saw me in a corner office, an MBA in hand, climbing the corporate ladder. My older brother, Ethan, is his golden boy, a rising star at Westbridge with a knack for closing deals and charming boardrooms. To them, I'm the disappointment who threw away a cushy future for a pair of combat boots and a computer screen. Today, I'm back in the house where I grew up, pulling into the driveway for a family dinner, unsure if I'm here to mend fences or prove them wrong. The air smells like cut grass and nostalgia as I step out of my rental car, the late Virginia summer wrapping around me like a heavy blanket. The Harper house looms ahead, a red brick colonial with white shutters and a perfectly manicured lawn, the kind of place that screams old money and expectations. My stomach churns as I smooth my civilian clothes, a simple blouse and slacks, nothing to hint at the silver eagle on my uniform. I haven't told them I'm a colonel now, one of the youngest in Cyber Command, or that I'm the Pentagon's liaison for Project Sentinel, the multi-million-dollar contract their precious company depends on. They don't deserve to know. Not yet. Inside, the house feels like a time capsule. The mahogany dining table is set with Mom's heirloom china, and the faint hum of a baseball game drifts from the living room TV, Dad's ritual. Mom, Clara, greets me with a tight smile and a hug that feels more obligatory than warm. "Talia, you look tired," she says, her eyes flicking over me like she's searching for the daughter she wanted. Ethan saunters in, his tailored blazer screaming Westbridge success, and flashes a grin that doesn't reach his eyes. "Hey, sis. Still playing soldier?" His tone is light, but it cuts deep. Dad doesn't even look up from his phone, muttering something about a delayed shipment. I bite back a retort, my fingers curling into fists. 5 years and nothing's changed. As we sit down to Mom's pot roast, the tension is thicker than the gravy. Dad finally speaks, his voice all business. "So, Talia, still messing around with computers in the Army? You could have been running a division at Westbridge by now." His words land like a punch, and Ethan smirks, slicing into his meat. I take a slow breath, my training kicking in, stay calm, assess, respond. "I'm doing work that matters, Dad," I say evenly. Protecting the country isn't exactly messing around. He snorts, dismissing me with a wave. Ethan jumps in, regaling us with his latest deal, some tech jargon about Project Sentinel that makes my ears perk up. They have no idea I hold their contract's fate in my hands. The irony almost makes me smile. But then Mom's voice, quiet and shaky, cuts through the chatter. "Talia reminds me of me sometimes." We all freeze. She's staring at her plate, her knuckles white around her fork. "I wanted to be a pilot, you know. Air Force. But my father said it wasn't proper." Confession hangs in the air, a grenade no one expected. Dad's face tightens, Ethan looks away, and I feel something crack inside me. Mom's dream, buried under decades of duty to this family, mirrors my own fight. Suddenly, I'm not just angry, I'm heartbroken. Is this why they can't accept me? Because I'm living the life Mom never could? As the dinner drags on, I feel the weight of their judgment, but also a spark of defiance. I'm not here to win their approval anymore. I'm Talia Harper, colonel, warrior, survivor. Tomorrow, at Westbridge's executive meeting, I'll show them exactly who I am. For now, I swallow my pride with another bite of pot roast, knowing the real battle is yet to come. If you're listening to my story right now, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear from you. Let's stay connected, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I truly recommend it so you never miss another story about love, family, and the bonds that shape our homes. Every single subscription is not just support, it's encouragement for us to keep sharing more heartfelt stories with you every day. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep growing this family together. The dining room feels like a battlefield, the kind I'm trained to navigate, but no cyber defense protocol can shield me from this. The clink of silverware against Mom's heirloom china is the only sound breaking the silence as we dig into the pot roast, its rosemary and garlic aroma clashing with the sour mood. My father, Richard Harper, sits at the head of the table, his broad shoulders squared like he's still commanding a boardroom even here. My brother, Ethan, lounges to his right, his smirk as sharp as the steak knife he's wielding. I'm across from Mom, Clara, whose eyes dart nervously between us, her hands fidgeting with her napkin. 5 years away, and I'm still the outsider in my own family, the army colonel they see as a wayward child playing at war. Dad breaks the silence first, his voice low and patronizing. "So, Talia, still tinkering with your computer games in the army? You know, you could have been running a division at Westbridge by now, making real money." The words hit like a precision strike, and I feel my jaw tighten. He doesn't know, neither of them does, that I'm a colonel, one of the youngest in Cyber Command, or that I'm the Pentagon's liaison for Project Sentinel, the cybersecurity contract Westbridge is banking on to stay afloat. I could tell them, watch their smug faces crumble, but I hold back. Let them underestimate me. It's a tactic I've learned to use. Ethan chimes in, his tone dripping with condescension. "Yeah, sis, how far up the ladder have you climbed? Got your own tank yet?" He laughs, and Dad joins in, a low chuckle that grates on my nerves. I clench my fists under the table, my nails digging into my palms. My training kicks in, stay calm, assess the threat, choose your moment. "I'm doing work that keeps this country safe," I say, my voice steady but sharp. "That's more than climbing ladders or chasing profits." Ethan rolls his eyes, slicing into his meat with exaggerated focus. Dad just snorts, muttering, "Safety doesn't pay the bills." I'm ready to fire back when Ethan pivots, launching into a monologue about his latest triumph at Westbridge. "Project Sentinel's a game changer," he boasts, tossing around buzzwords like quantum encryption and next-gen firewalls as if he's the one coding them. I know better. I've seen the specs, the ones I'll be reviewing at their executive meeting tomorrow. My silence is my weapon, but it's hard to keep it holstered when they're so clueless about my power over their precious project. Then, out of nowhere, Mom speaks, her voice so soft it almost drowns in the hum of the air conditioner. Talia reminds me of me sometimes. The room goes still, forks frozen midair. Mom's staring at her plate, her knuckles white around her fork like she's gripping a lifeline. "I wanted to be a pilot, you know. Air Force. I was accepted into a training program in '85, but my father said it wasn't proper for a woman." Her words tremble, and I see tears glinting in her eyes. "He said I'd be throwing my life away. So I stayed home, married your father, and that was that." The confession is a grenade, shattering the pretense of our family dinner. Dad's face hardens, his fork clattering against his plate. Then looks away, suddenly fascinated by the chandelier. I stare at Mom, my chest tightening. Her dream, buried under decades of duty to this family, mirrors my own fight. All these years, I thought their rejection was about me failing their expectations. Now I see it's deeper, rooted in Mom's own regrets, in the dreams she never dared to chase. Is that why Dad pushes so hard for Ethan's success? Why he can't look at me without seeing his own control slipping? I want to reach for her to say something, but my throat feels like it's lined with sandpaper. "Mom," I start, but she shakes her head, forcing a smile. "It's fine, Talia. It was a long time ago. But it's not fine." The air is thick with unspoken pain, and I feel it pressing against my ribs. Dad clears his throat, steering the conversation back to Westbridge, but the damage is done. I push my plate away, appetite gone. This isn't just about proving them wrong anymore. It's about breaking a cycle Mom's, mine, maybe even theirs. Tomorrow at Westbridge, I'll walk into their world not as their failure, but as Colonel Talia Harper, the woman who chose her own path. For now, I sit in the wreckage of this dinner, my resolve hardening like steel. Back in my DC apartment, the city's hum filters through the window, a low drone of traffic and distant sirens that never quite lets you forget you're in the belly of the beast. It's past midnight and I can't sleep. The dinner at my parents' house in Alexandria clings to me like damp clothes, heavy with the weight of mom's confession and dad's disdain. My studio apartment, a utilitarian box in a high-rise near DuPont Circle, feels too small for the storm in my head. The walls are bare except for a framed photo from my commissioning ceremony, my face stern in my army greens. Tonight, that version of Colonel Talia Harper feels like a stranger. I sink onto the couch, my fingers brushing against a shoebox tucked under the coffee table. Inside is a Polaroid from a 4th of July barbecue maybe 15 years ago, me, Ethan, Mom, and Dad grinning under a Virginia sky streaked with fireworks. We were a family then, before Dad's expectations and Ethan's ambition carved a chasm between us. I trace Mom's face in the photo, her smile soft but strained and her words from dinner echo. I wanted to be a pilot, but my father said it wasn't proper. Her dream, crushed by someone else's rules, feels like a mirror held up to my own fight. Did I choose this path to prove them wrong or to prove something to myself? Question gnaws at me, and for the first time in years, I feel the ground shift beneath my confidence. I pull out a notepad, the kind I use for mission briefs, and start writing a letter to Dad. The words spill out raw and jagged. You never saw me, Dad. Not when I graduated top of my class at West Point, not when I made colonel at 30. You called my work a game, but I'm protecting lives while you chase contracts. Each sentence is a wound, bleeding years of his dismissal. Every time he praised Ethan's deals but ignored my medals. Every time he said I'd thrown my life away. I write until my hand cramps, but I don't seal the envelope. Sending it would mean admitting I still need his approval, and I'm not ready to give him that power. The weight of the night presses harder. Was it worth it? 5 years of silence, of missed holidays and unanswered calls just to wear this rank? I think of Mom, her eyes glistening at dinner, and wonder if I'm doomed to carry her regrets too. The Army taught me to face threats head-on, but this quiet ache, this longing for a family that doesn't understand me, feels like an enemy I can't outmaneuver. I close my eyes, willing sleep to come, but my mind replays Ethan's smirk, Dad's snort, the way Mom's voice broke. My phone buzzes, shattering the silence. The screen glows with Cyber Command urgent. I answer, my voice steady despite the chaos inside. Colonel Harper. It's Major Chen, my deputy, her tone clipped. Ma'am, we've got a potential issue with Project Sentinel's encryption protocols. Anomalies in the latest data. We need you at HQ. I glance at the clock, 1:17 a.m., and the letter on the table. The doubts, the hurt, they'll have to wait. I shove the notepad into a drawer, the Polaroid back into its box. I'm on my way, I say, already pulling on my boots. The city outside is a blur of neon and shadow as I step into the night, the weight of the dinner fading with each step. I'm not just Talia, the daughter they don't see. I'm Colonel Harper, and whatever's waiting at Cyber Command, I'll face it head-on. The letter can stay unsent, for now my fight is elsewhere. The Westbridge Technologies headquarters in Tyson's Corner gleams like a fortress of glass and steel, a monument to my father's ambition. I stride through the lobby in my Army service uniform, the silver eagle on my shoulder catching the fluorescent light. My heart pounds, but my face is a mask of calm. Years in Cyber Command have taught me to hide the storm inside. Today's meeting is about Project Sentinel, the cybersecurity contract my father and brother think will cement their legacy. They don't know I'm the Pentagon's liaison, the one who holds the final say on whether their system passes muster. As I step into the elevator, I catch my reflection, Colonel Talia Harper, ready to rewrite their story about me. The boardroom is all polished oak and floor-to-ceiling windows, with a view of Northern Virginia's sprawling tech parks. Dad sits at the head of the table, his suit crisp, his expression impatient. Ethan, in a tailored blazer, flips through a tablet, exuding the confidence of someone who's never been questioned. The Westbridge execs, mostly older men in ties, nod at him like he's their golden ticket. When I enter, the room goes quiet. Dad's eyes widen and Ethan's mouth drops open before he recovers with a forced grin. Talia? What's this, a costume party? He quips, but his voice wavers. I don't smile. I'm here as the Pentagon's liaison for Project Sentinel, I say, my tone clipped and professional. Colonel Talia Harper, U.S. Army Cyber Command. The words land like a shockwave and I see Dad's jaw tighten, Ethan's face flush red. Ethan launches into his presentation, all buzzwords and bravado, machine learning, zero-trust architecture, unbreakable encryption. I've read the specs, I know the holes he's glossing over. His confidence grates, and I feel last night's dinner, their dismissal, Mom's confession, fueling my focus. Let's see the raw data, I interrupt, my voice cutting through his spiel. The execs shift uncomfortably. Ethan hesitates, his fingers hovering over his tablet. It's all in the report, he says too quickly. My gut, honed by years of spotting threats in code and combat, screams he's hiding something. The raw data, Ethan, I repeat, locking eyes with him. Dad looks away, his fingers drumming the table, and I know he knows something too. Reluctantly, Ethan pulls up the data. I scan the logs on the shared screen, my training kicking in like muscle memory. There it is, a vulnerability in the encryption protocol, a backdoor that could let hackers waltz through. It's a catastrophic flaw, one that could compromise national security if Project Sentinel goes live. You knew about this, I say, not a question. Ethan's face pales, his charm evaporating. It's fixable, he stammers. We didn't want to delay the contract. Dad's silence is deafening, his gaze fixed on the window. My blood boils, they were willing to risk lives to save face. I want to slam the table, call them out for their recklessness, but I channel the anger into control. This stops now, I say, my voice steel. Ethan, you'll work with my team to patch this under my supervision. No shortcuts. The room is a tomb, the exec's frozen, Dad's face unreadable. Ethan nods, his shoulders slumping, the golden boy humbled. I feel a flicker of pity. He's caught in Dad's shadow just as I was, but it's overshadowed by duty. This isn't about proving them wrong anymore. It's about protecting what's at stake. As I gather my notes, I catch Dad's eye. For a moment, I think I see respect, but it's gone too fast to be sure. I walk out, my boots echoing on the polished floor, knowing this isn't the end. There's more to uncover, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. The boardroom at Westbridge Technologies is still reeling from my bombshell about Ethan's cover-up, the air thick with the aftershock of my authority. I'm standing at the head of the polished oak table, my army uniform crisp, my voice steady as I outline the plan to fix Project Sentinel's encryption flaw. The executives scribble notes, their faces a mix of shock and deference, while Ethan slumps in his chair, his usual swagger gone. Dad's eyes are fixed on the skyline beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, as if he can avoid the truth by staring at Tyson's Corner's glass towers. I'm about to wrap up when the door swings open and my stomach drops. Colonel James Carter strides in, his Cyber Command uniform as immaculate as his smirk. Of all the people to crash this meeting, it has to be him. Carter's been a thorn in my side since our days at West Point, where he never forgave me for outranking him in academics. Now a colonel like me, he's made it his mission to undermine me, whispering to anyone who'll listen that I only got the Pentagon liaison role because of my father's ties to Westbridge. The rumor's a lie. I earned this post through sleepless nights and relentless work, but lies don't need truth to wound. Colonel Harper, he says, his voice smooth as oil. I'm here as an observer for Cyber Command, just ensuring oversight. His eyes glint with malice, and I know he's not here to observe. He's here to dismantle me in front of my family and their board. The execs shift uncomfortably, sensing the tension. Dad raises an eyebrow, and Ethan leans forward, his earlier humiliation forgotten as he smells blood. Carter wastes no time, firing off questions like sniper rounds. Your assessment of Sentinel's flaw seems optimistic. Can you confirm the backdoor's origin? What's the risk of a cascading breach? Have you stress-tested the patch timeline? Each question is a trap designed to make me falter, to paint me as the nepotism hire he claims I am. I feel the weight of every eye in the room, Dad's, Ethan's, the board's, waiting for me to crack. For a split second, I'm back at that dinner table, swallowing their dismissal, but I push it down. I'm not that Talia anymore. I'm Colonel Harper, and I've faced worse than Carter's games. I square my shoulders, meeting his gaze. The back door originates from a misconfigured API in the third-party integration, I say, my voice calm but razor-sharp. It could allow unauthorized access to critical systems, which is why I've ordered a full audit. As for the patch, my team's already running parallel simulations. Results will be on your desk by 0800 tomorrow. I pull up a chart on the screen, data I prepped at 2 a.m. after Cyber Command's call last night, and walk them through the risk mitigation plan. Carter's smirk fades as I counter each question with precision, citing protocols he knows I've mastered. The execs nod, impressed. Ethan's mouth tightens like he's seeing me for the first time. Dad's gaze shifts from the window to me, and for a moment I catch something new in his eyes, respect, maybe, or at least surprise. Carter tries one last jab. Impressive, Colonel, but how do we know this isn't a conflict of interest? Your family's company, after all. It's a low blow, and I feel my pulse spike. But I've prepared for this, too. My loyalty is to national security, I say, my voice like steel. If anything, my family ties make me more rigorous. I won't let personal bias compromise the mission. The room is silent, Carter's challenge deflated. He nods curtly, out of moves, and takes a seat. I wrap the meeting, assigning tasks to Ethan's team under my oversight. As I gather my files, I catch Dad's eye again. This time, the respect lingers, fleeting but real. I walk out, my boots steady on the polished floor, knowing I've won this round, but the war with my family isn't over. Carter's defeat is just a skirmish. The real battle lies ahead, and it's with the man who's been silent too long. The Westbridge meeting leaves a bitter taste, but the real fight is still ahead. I'm back in my DC apartment, the city's skyline a jagged silhouette against the dusk, when I get the call from Major Chen. The audit of Project Sentinel's data, which I ordered after exposing Ethan's cover-up, has uncovered something worse, evidence that my father, Richard Harper, knew about the encryption flaw all along. He buried it to protect a $200 million contract, gambling with national security. My hands shake as I set down the phone. This isn't just about Ethan's ambition or Westbridge's reputation, it's about Dad's choices and what they mean for the family I fought to hold on to. I request a private meeting with him at Westbridge's headquarters tomorrow, knowing this confrontation could break us for good. The next morning, I drive to Tyson's Corner, the hum of I-495 a backdrop to my racing thoughts. The boardroom is empty when I arrive, just me and Dad face to face across the same oak table where I upended his world yesterday. He looks older in the morning light, his tailored suit not quite hiding the tension in his shoulders. "Talia," he starts, his voice gruff. "This better be quick." I don't flinch. "You knew about the backdoor in Sentinel's system," I say, laying the audit report on the table. "You hid it to save the contract." His eyes narrow, but he doesn't deny it. "Business is war, Talia. Sometimes you make tough calls." His words hit like a slap, echoing every time he dismissed my career as a game. I feel the hurt from that dinner, from years of being unseen, but I channel it into focus. This isn't business, Dad. It's national security. Lives are on the line, soldiers, civilians, the people I swore to protect. My voice is steady, but my heart pounds. You need to report this to the Pentagon, or I will. The silence is suffocating. For a moment, I think he'll fight me, but then his shoulders sag. "I didn't want to lose everything," he mutters, almost to himself. I soften, seeing not the Titan of Westbridge, but a man caught in his own trap. "You won't lose everything," I say. "I'll help you fix this, but it starts with doing what's right." He nods, a single heavy gesture, and I see something shift in his eyes, not just respect, but regret. 3 months later, I'm in my DC apartment, the Potomac River glinting beyond my window. Westbridge is under scrutiny, but Dad's decision to come clean saved the company from ruin, and my team's patches secured Project Sentinel. Tonight, my family is coming for dinner, not at their Alexandria colonial, but on my turf. I've set the table with simple plates, nothing like Mom's heirloom china, and cooked a spread of comfort food: meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans, a nod to the Virginia roots I've never fully left behind. When the doorbell rings, I brace myself, half expecting the old tensions to resurface. Mom walks in first, her hug warmer than it's been in years. Ethan follows, no blazer this time, just a sweater and a sheepish smile. Dad's last, his posture less rigid, his eyes meeting mine without that old judgment. We sit, and for the first time, the conversation isn't about Westbridge or Ethan's deals. Mom talks about a community garden she's joined, her voice lighter, like she's reclaiming a piece of herself. Ethan admits he's been working with my cyber command team, learning from the audit. "You're tough, Talia," he says, almost grudgingly. "I get why they trust you with Sentinel." I smile, surprised by the warmth it brings. Dad clears his throat, his voice low. "I'm proud of you, Talia." I was wrong. The words are simple, but they land like a weight lifted. Mom reaches for my hand, whispering, "I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you sooner." As they leave, I stand at my window, the city's lights reflecting on the Potomac. I don't need their approval anymore, but their acknowledgement feels like a bridge rebuilt. I think of the lessons I've carried from this journey, ones I hope resonate with anyone forging their own path. First, your worth is yours to define, not shaped by others' expectations. Second, persistence outshines underestimation. Keep going, even when they doubt you. Third, your presence is your power. Showing up as your true self is the loudest statement you can make. Fourth, confronting hard truths, even with those you love, builds stronger bonds than silence ever could. And fifth, healing starts with owning your path, not proving it to others. This journey, mine, Mom's, maybe even Dad's, has taught me that resilience isn't just about winning battles. It's about knowing who you are when the fight is over. If this story of standing tall and finding your worth inspires you, I'd love for you to join our community. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and share your own story in the comments. Tell us how you're carving your path. Together, we can lift each other up, one truth at a time.